$7,000 and the plan to replace Social Security. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to discuss the details of a plan that I've seen circling around in the headlines over the last few months, where they're now talking about an initial $7,000 could eventually replace Social Security benefits. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's get into it, and as I do talk through the details of this, I would love to hear your comments and feedback down below. Do you like the idea? Do you think they should keep it? Do you think they should implement it immediately? Do you think this is a terrible idea? Do you think they should trash it? What do you think about this idea? I would love to hear your feedback down below. Now, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for any length of time now, you know over the last 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or maybe even a little bit longer, we've seen a ton of different proposals out there to change Social Security, to reform the program, to raise benefits, to increase solvency, all kinds of different things like that. Well, this is just another one we can add to the very long list of different changes they want to implement for Social Security. So let me talk you through the details of this. So here's what it comes down to. They want to implement a new program where a new baby at birth would get $7,000 from the federal government. That $7,000 would be invested into index funds in the stock market. Then, at the age of 65, so this new baby that's born and gets the $7,000, 65 years later, when this individual turns 65, then they would get control of this money. But guess what? It is no longer $7,000. It has now turned into $1 million. That's the plan. Seriously, okay? That's what they are talking about here. So here's what the idea is behind this. Basically taking $7,000 and investing it into index funds with an annual rate of return, as in, your investment, turning into $1 million over the course of 65 years is basically an 8% return on that money every single year, compounded over 65 years, turns into $1 million. And then basically this individual from 65, if they want to, through the rest of their life, can live on this $1 million. This is the whole idea behind this. So, interesting concept, right? There's a few things that I want to point out about this that I think we all need to take into consideration. Even if they were to pass this today, now obviously, let me make this very clear, no, this has not been passed yet, okay? But let's just say in theory, they pass this today, okay? It goes into effect immediately. The next baby that's born gets $7,000, okay? We're just talking through this hypothetically. Let's just say in 65 years, okay, let's say that it actually does turn into $1 million. Amazing. However, I do have a couple questions about that. Do you think in 65 years from right now, the purchasing power of $1 is going to be the same as what it is today? I'm going to go ahead and say, no, not even close, not a chance, not happening. It's not going to be the same thing, okay? Let me put this into perspective. Did the purchasing power of your $1 remain the same over the last, say, 3 to 4 years? Let's rewind just back to 2019, okay? So just 4 years ago, did $1 back in 2019 buy you the same amount of things that it buys you today? It bought you way more 4 years ago in 2019. Before everything that's gone on here over the last couple years, $1 bought us significantly more back then, just 4 simple years ago, based on what it buys us today, 4 years later in 2023, right? So my point is, just think, 65 years ago, whatever the math is on that, was that 1958? 58, I think my math is correct on that. I could be off. Just kind of running some numbers in my head right now. I think it's 1958. For those of you that were around in 1958, when you were, however old you were in 1958, did $1 then buy you the same thing as what it does today? Well, let's just put it into perspective. In 1958, we still had silver dimes, we still had silver quarters, we still had silver half dollars, and things like that. Do we have silver anything anymore? No, not a chance, right? Not in circulation anyway, unless it's there by accident, which, by the way, if I ever come across any silver coins, yoink, I grab those things and put them in my little collection, okay? There's no way a silver coin is going through my hands without being put in my little collection. It's not coming out of my grips either, by the way, okay? My point is, stuff was very different in 1958. To be fair, I was not around in 1958, not even close, okay? That was way before my time. But my point is, to put that into perspective, 65 years ago, $1 had way more value than what it does today. You could buy a lot more. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know exactly what you could buy for $1 in 1958 or around that time, but I guarantee you 100% it was way more than what you can get today. What does $1 get you today? I don't know. Seriously, that's the trick question. Somebody, please tell me, what can you get for $1 today? The answer is like virtually nothing, right? Well, you can get some, I was going to say you can get some stuff from the dollar store. You can't even do that anymore. You can't even get stuff from the dollar store. It's now $1.25, okay? My example was not even going to be a good one. Wow. So seriously, if you can even tell me what you can get for $1 anymore, tell me, can you even buy a pack of gum in the checkout counter or the checkout lane for $1 anymore? I'm pretty sure those are like $1.09 or like $1.19 or something. And then you add tax on top of that, you're sitting at $1.25 now, okay? So yeah, my point is you can't get anything for $1 anymore. If you can, it's not much, very limited. So, okay, I think I made that point. I think I hammered that one home pretty good. But here's my point. Let's just fast forward 65 years from now. Do you think that $1 today is going to be the same value? No, not even close. $1 today would probably be the equivalent of, I don't know, 10 cents, 15 cents in the future. I mean, seriously, right? It's just not going to be the same. Anyway, so that is what their plan is here. So something else I want to point out to you as well. Now, here's the thing. I've been mentioning this here a little bit recently. Now, I believe Social Security will be around for a very long time, okay? I'm not here saying, oh, Social Security is going away in 5 years or 3 years or next year. I am not saying that at all. But I do believe at some point in the future, maybe it's 20 years, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 30 years, at some point in the future, lawmakers and many people who are looking at this logically will understand, hey, Social Security has some major issues. It has financial issues. It's been having financial issues for many decades. Congress needs to continue coming back and making sure this program is solvent. What's basically happening is not enough money is coming into the program for the number of benefits that are being paid out to beneficiaries. Therefore, more money is going out than what's being brought in. That is the recipe for basically running out of money. I mean, that's simple, basic stuff right there. We all understand that, right? If we have $1,000 in our bank account, we're spending $100 a day, and we're bringing in $50 of income, well, it's not that long until we're out of money, right? I mean, same thing that's happening to Social Security, okay? So I think all of us recognize this. And I think at some point, again, this is just my opinion on this, and we've actually seen some lawmakers talking about this as well, where maybe we need to come up with a new plan to replace Social Security for younger generations, okay? And like I said, I want to reiterate this. I am not suggesting Social Security is going to go away anytime soon, but maybe in 20, 25, 30 years, something like that. Like I said, I would not be shocked one bit to see Social Security replaced by a different program, because this program needs constant maintenance just to keep up with current levels of benefits and beneficiaries, things like that. It needs to be reformed in a major way. And we know whatever reform they make to Social Security now is just going to be a short-term fix. We'll have to do the same thing again in 20 years or 30 years or whatever. It's just to basically kicking the can down the road. So anyway, maybe this is the new plan for the future and for younger generations, which is set them up with this account here, give them $7,000, funded by the federal government at birth, 65 years later, after invested into index funds and getting an 8% rate of return compounded over that amount of time. We have $1 million according to what they're saying. Now, one more thing I want to say as well. Do we think taxes are going to be higher or lower in the future? Now, maybe you're somebody that loves taxes. Maybe you're somebody that hates taxes. Maybe you're somebody that's right down the middle. I don't really know. I'm not here to tell you what to say. I'm not here to tell you what to think or what to believe. That's not my style and not my duty. But let's just be real for a second. Taxes go up. Generally, taxes do not go down. So in 65 years from now, do we think taxes are going to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, or the same? Or a lot higher? That's the other option as well. Well, generally, taxes are probably going to be a lot higher in 65 years because that's just generally what they do. They continue to raise taxes, and they generally don't go back down, right? Once they go up, they defy gravity, and they don't come down, okay? That's one thing that defies gravity. Once goes up, it never comes down for the most part, right? Maybe a little bit, but generally probably not really. So 65 years from right now, when taxes are higher and this person is sitting on $1 million that is really the purchasing power of maybe, I don't know, $200,000, $150,000, maybe $100,000 in 65 years from right now. Now they're sitting on all this money that, it's $1 million, but how much of that is going to need to be paid in taxes? 30, 35, 40, 50 plus percent? Would it put it past him, right? So now this person is sitting with, say, $500,000 that has maybe the purchasing power of, say, 50,000, 75, maybe 100 grand, right? Not much, okay? So my point is, great idea, but if they actually ran the numbers on this and looked at this logically, this would not really be the solution for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing a 50 grand, 75 grand, $100,000, something like that. That'd be awesome. I think we'd all be super happy with that, right? But this is not going to get somebody through retirement. Maybe a few years, you know what I mean? I think a few years would be great. That'd be awesome. It'd get somebody, a pretty nice life for a couple of years, something like that. But other than that, that's about it. It's not going to serve somebody for, 20, 30, 40 years in retirement, something like that, depending on how long somebody lives for and, their lifestyle and their spending habits and stuff like that. But I don't know. It just seems like some major flaws in this program. But sounds kind of interesting at the end of the day, turning 7,000 into $1 million. I don't know. It sounds very appealing to all of us, right? I'd love to turn 7 grand into $1 million today. That'd be awesome, but it's just not happening for the most part, right? Not happening. But this is something that they've talked about and a plan that's floating around out there. I want to bring this to your attention. Just like always, I'm watching everything very, very closely, and I'm bringing it to your attention right away so you can see what's going on, what they're talking about, the plans that are being discussed, and just anything that's being floated out there. We got to pay attention to all this because you just never know at what point which of these plans are actually going to be brought into fruition, and they say this is the one, this is the golden plan, right? So we just want to keep an eye on all this stuff. Doesn't mean that just because we talk about it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get passed or that it's actually going to have any further progression other than just a conversation for a time or two. That's about it. But either way, thought this was very interesting. Want to bring it to your attention. Nice concept. Not sure if it is the solution that everybody's looking for, though. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this one. If you think it's a great plan, if you think it's terrible, if you think this is nuts, we should never even talk about this ever again, burn it immediately, that's fine too. Just let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting one, right? So anyway, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, have a good one, and catch you again later.